This video is sponsored by Natracare. Today I want to talk to you about greenwashing and the issue of bioplastics. Greenwashing is when oil companies pay influencers to dress up in bright colours and dance around shouting things like synergy and innovation into the camera like Alan Johnson from Peep Show in the hope of distracting you from the fact that they're doing a few little naughties like bringing about the end of life on Earth. When brands who test on animals realise that even if they spent all morning dripping shampoo into the eyes of baby bunnies, as long as there's no milk powder in there, they can call their product vegan and maybe have some decorative tofu or leaves on the packaging for good measure. When companies realise that public awareness about an issue like plastic has reached the stage where they can no longer appear not to care about it anymore, so they take the drastic step of appearing to care about it. Or at least they pretend they've only just noticed it, like, oh my god, who put all this plastic here? Whoopsie. Basically, greenwashing is when a company tries to boost their eco-credentials by making teeny tiny changes, or hyping up the parts of their business that are green to cover up for the bits that aren't, or hiring influencers to do their marketing for them to trick you into liking them. Seriously, Google the Shell Influencers campaign. Hey kids, big oil is fun! Greenwashing is absolutely everywhere right now because environmental issues are front and center. Every brand is scrambling to try to prove that they're still a good choice for consumers who care about the planet. And most of them are bending the truth a little bit. Or as they probably describe it, doing a soothing vinyasa flow with the facts. One of the biggest ways that I've seen brands doing this is by switching to plant-based or bioplastics. You see it everywhere on packaging, beauty products, food products. I've definitely been sucked into it myself a few times because I'm trying to reduce the amount of plastic that I use and it seems like a good solution. And the thinking behind plant-based plastics seems sound. Oil-based plastics suck because they come from oil, they never degrade. In the year 5012, when aliens finally make it to Earth, they'll be able to study our tampon applicators and tell what kind of crisps we like to eat before the climate collapse. Salt and vinegar. Obviously. So if you make plastic out of plants, what could go wrong? Unfortunately, bio or plant-based plastics can still be pretty bad for the environment. They don't all biodegrade like you'd hope they would, and sometimes they behave exactly like oil-based plastic does in the environment, causing all sorts of delightful problems. It's also confusing because there are lots of different types of bioplastics popping up all over the place. Some plant-based plastic is still polyethylene, it's just polyethylene derived from plant materials. And some types claim to be compostable, but are actually only compostable under very specific conditions, which for the average consumer makes them not really compostable at all. If bioplastics get in the waterways or tangled up in wildlife, they are pretty much just gonna stay there because they are not in the right conditions to start breaking down. Apart from our friend plant-based polyethylene, which never breaks down, it just breaks up into lots of smaller pieces. So you could still get birds feeding their chicks a delicious plastic-based brunch, whales chowing down on it, foxes getting their heads stuck inside bioplastic packaging. It's not exactly the idyllic eco-friendly life you imagine when you opt to spend more money on the green option, because it often is more expensive too. Companies know that they can charge us more for products if they seem to be good for the environment, whether that's by putting vegan and all natural on the label or by using a plastic alternative. And people like us will pay because ultimately we want to do a good thing. Greenwashing, eh? This video is sponsored by Natracare because all of this is becoming a big thing in the menstrual products industry, especially with tampon applicators, which are typically used for 10 seconds and then thrown away. Natracare are trying to spread the message that we should be moving away from all types of plastic and towards things like cardboard, which is what they use for their applicators. When menstrual product companies make the switch to bioplastics, we all get to feel like we're doing a good thing by buying their products, getting rid of some of that guilt, scrubbing the blood off our hands, quite literally, if your period's anything like mine. I've seen some terrible things. But it's not as green a choice as it seems. Brands need to go further than making superficial changes and actually find alternatives to plastic instead of just slapping the word plant in front of it and hoping that their consumers don't look too closely. If this is something that you care about, and like me, you're not a user of menstrual cups, Natracare are an organic range that you can try. You see, it's good old-fashioned cardboard, but it's just as much wholesome fun as the next menstrual product. I know that we're all just trying to do good when we switch to products that claim green credentials, and I am definitely not trying to have a go at you as a person for choosing to buy something that advertised itself as being better for the planet. Because of course that's the choice we all want to make. That is why it is up to companies to make real change and the government to bring in laws that reinforce that change, so we can move away from being a society that relies on plastic that we use once and then throw away. You can find out more about the issues I've talked about on the Natracare website, and they have content that you can share on your social media channels if you are interested in joining them in calling for an end to the plant-based plastic applicator nonsense. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to tell me to stop talking about periods now. I would be really interested to know what changes you have made in your day-to-day life to try and be a bit more eco-friendly, because to make a difference we don't all have to be like living in a hut, growing our own vegetables, drinking our own piss. Like, that's just my personal preference.